Hey guys, Joe here, just doing a video game pickup video, and I just wanted to do a traditional one because I know all the other ones I've been doing recently have been about fixing and selling stuff, and obviously I can't just do that. I mean, I could just do that, but you don't want to see that. Um, Yesterday, technically today because it didn't load yesterday when it was supposed to, I mentioned that I was looking at doing a big pickup. So what it was it was an ad on Craigslist, and the guy said he had 18 games left. Must have had a bunch more to start with, but he said he had 18 left, and there was a picture of a big cardboard box, and inside that box were a bunch of games, different platforms, PS2, PS3, PSP, and the one that caught my eye was Def Jam Fight for New York. And any collector knows that that's anywhere from $25 to $45 depending on where you sell it and things like that. I just wanted it for me. I love that game. It's hilarious. Especially when you see like Omar Epps trying to be a gangster. Just hilarious. I emailed him right away and said, hey, look, is Def Jam in that group? If it is, just let me know. I'll take them all. Just take you down your listing. I will come pick up everything tomorrow and I'll pay you your 25 bucks. He didn't answer me back. Kind of figured he wouldn't. So this morning came around and I decided to take the chance because if that game had been in there, that would have been, the only game I would have wanted to really keep, and then who cares? I'll bundle the rest of the game with systems or something. So I get up early and I drive out to West Virginia. It's only a 25-mile drive. So technically, compared to all the other places I go, it's the shortest one that I had done in a while because most of the flea markets are about 45 minutes to an hour away from me. So yeah, no big deal. I go out earlier and I Googled beforehand all the thrift stores and pawn shops in the area. So I get out to West Virginia and I start by going to the two pawn shops that were closest to the freeway. First one, really nice building, brand new pretty much from the look of it. Inside, beautiful cases, beautiful, displays, everything set up nice and neat. And when I see something like that, the first thing that comes to my mind is it is not going to be cheap. And I wasn't wrong. They weren't super overpriced, but they were more than I wanted to pay while hunting. Now, if it was a game I really needed and I really wanted, I probably would have bought it through them because it would have been the same price as if I had done it through eBay. But again, that's not the reason I was out. I wanted to find some deals. So I left that one. And I went to the next one, which was just a little crappy little pawn shop and, smelly, musky, that scent that comes from the shelves never being cleaned and they've been there forever. Well, they had some games and they had a bigger selection. They actually had stuff from like the Atari all the way up to PS4, but the games were massively overpriced. Not just a little bit, like a lot of it. So, for example, you've seen this game before. This is WWF Warzone for the Nintendo 64. The reason I bought that game, as you recall, was because I wanted something that I could test Nintendo 64s with that wasn't, an expensive game. Something like Mario Kart 64 or Majora's Mask or Conker's Bad Fur Day, which I'm looking at getting, but I don't really want to give up a PS3 for Conker's. It's just not a fair trade. Anyway, that game is like a dollar game. They had 3 of these and they wanted $11 a piece in this condition, torn labels and discolored and didn't look like they'd even play. $11 and they wouldn't come down. Obviously, I'm not going to buy that. So I looked at the other games I had, all similarly overpriced. So I was done. I left immediately. So I started driving down the road. I was looking for this other thrift shop that I had seen because thrift shops, let's face it, are always going to be a little bit better than pawn shops just because they're usually thrift shops. They go and they buy lots from like storage lockers or estate sales, and then they bring it back to their place and sell it. So a lot of times you have a better chance. And that actually happened. I was driving down the road and I saw a sign on the side of the road. And I quickly swerved, turned off, and went to this place. Quaint little place. It was kind of like between the pawn shops. It wasn't brand new, but it wasn't super crappy either. So I walk in, and he has some games on the table, only like 10, and most of them weren't that great. But he had a few. But what threw me off at first was the first game on top of the stack was this one, which is The Matrix Path of Neo. And this sticker says $4.99. I don't know how close I need to be because obviously half the time it doesn't work. Anyways, then I saw the dollar sticker and I looked at the other stacks and all the games were $1. That's not a bad price at all. I don't have any of these, so $1, hell yeah, I'll buy them. On the PSP, they had Fight Night Round 3, which is a very fun game. You lose one of the thumbsticks when you're playing it on the PSP, obviously, so it's harder to do some of the like uppercuts, but it's still a fun game to play on the PSP. You basically get a PS2 game and take it on the go and have fun, so woohoo. Sorry about that. Dynasty Warrior 3, it really wanted to meet you. So then Splinter Cell, Stealth Action Redefined. Is that the actual title of the game, or is that just the tagline for the series? I don't know. Leave it below if you know. So yeah, I picked up those 4 games, and then I picked up a DVD because it's a really good movie. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it, and that's The Watchmen. This is a sealed copy. It's also Canadian, based on the tags that it has, such as the French and the maple leaf, which was somewhere on here. But yeah, so it's a Canadian release, but that's fine. I don't care. It's got 24 minutes of extra footage, and it was only $2. So that's cool. I'm probably going to open it and watch it. The only reason I bought it was because I wanted it, not because it's sealed. It just happened to be sealed. Then, as you guys know, I am a watch fiend, watch whore, if you want it. And they had this. This is a Le Chateau stainless steel, not chronograph, but just kind of a sportier looking watch. It even has one of those imitation distress beacon things with the clasp over it, so you can't push that button. Now, I bought it because it looks cool, but it turns out it's actually like a $65 watch, according to sold listings on eBay. I don't plan on selling it. I just bought it because I thought it was cool. I don't have any black watches, and all it needs is a battery. So, awesome. So, that all totaled like $14.50 plus tax. It would have been like $16, and you know, I only had $14 cash on me because I hadn't gone to the bank yet. I just didn't think about it, and he didn't take credit cards. So I actually got all of it for $14 out the door, which is like $13. So cool. So after that, the rest of them were all a bust. Nobody really had anything, and I was still like an hour early getting to the guy's house because he said he wasn't going to be there until noon, and he was only going to be there from noon to 3. So I wanted to be the first guy in just in case anybody else was there too. So I got there early, and I sat there, and I waited. I didn't want to go and knock on his door early because that would just be rude. So I waited until about 11:55, got out of my car, walked up to his house, knocked on the door, no answer. I'm looking through the windows, and you can just see there's stacks of like comic books and action figures and stuff. So, you know, I figured he was a hoarder or a reseller, and a couple of options sprang to mind. Number one, he was a crazy old man who was going to shoot me as soon as he opened the door. Or, number two, he was a crazy old man who just wanted to get rid of everything because he'd been buying things that he probably shouldn't have for years. And, now it was time to liquidate. And it turns out option two was closer to the truth. I called him on the phone, and when he picked up, he said, hello, blah, blah, blah. And I said, hey, I'm at your house. I'm here to pick up those games. And he says, we're not open today. We'll be back on Sunday. And I say, that's not what your ad says, and that's not even what your sign that you have taped to a window says. It says you're open. And he says, well, I'm sorry, we won't be back till Sunday. And I said, well, I'm not coming back. So if you don't want to do the deal today, that's fine, but don't expect me to call or show up again. He's like, well, where are you? I said, I'm standing on your front porch. He says, well, I'm down the road. I'm at my buddy's house. Give me 15 minutes. I'd already been in that part of town for like 2.5 hours. I didn't want to go home empty-handed, so I said fine, and I waited. So about 15 minutes later, he shows up, old beat-up pickup truck, older gentleman, about what I expected. Nice guy, not 100% there, but a really nice guy. And we go into his house, and he has the box with all the games, as promised, sitting right there, and I'm looking through it. Of course, Def Jam wasn't in there. Somebody must have got it the day before. But I still picked it all up because for $25 for what I'm about to show you, not a terrible price. So let's start with the fewer in number odd system games. For the PSP, it was NBA Live 2007 and a UMD movie, 8 Below, starring Mr. Paul Walker. For the PS3, and it was the only PS3 game, it is Madden 25. That's obviously celebrating the 25th anniversary of the Madden games. So that's pretty cool. Maybe I'll give that one a shot. Some 360 and regular Xbox games. Bakugan, and this is actually the worst game in the whole thing. This is the most worn out looking game. Must have sat in water or something. Then you got Sega Superstars Tennis. That's a fun game. Then on the original Xbox, you have Pocket Bike Racers, which was the Burger King shovelware, basically. Never played it, don't intend to. I just kind of like the cover. Looks kind of fun, based solely on that. Then we've got some PS2 games. We got 2 copies of Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers. And I took them both because obviously he wouldn't have done any kind of price deduction if I left one game out of all these. So I took those. NFL Head Coach, and inside the case was an 8 megabyte Sony card. So, that's a free $2. So that's cool. Bunch of sports games. Madden 06. These cases are in real good shape. So even if I don't want to keep the games in here and I have other games I need the cases for, these are in really good shape. The plastic isn't torn or anything. Fight Night Round 2, complete. And this disc isn't quite as good as mine, so I'm going to switch it out. But the case and the manual are in much better shape. Pirates of the Caribbean, Legend of Jack Sparrow. That's pretty cool. Disney Bolt. Never saw the movie, never played the game. Cars, made by THQ. I heard it's actually not a terrible game. It's got some mini games and things like that. Maybe I'll pop in and see what that's like. I like goofy stuff. NCAA Football 05. Backyard Football 09. NCAA Football 2006. NBA 2K9, and if you look there, Mr. Garnett does not look too happy there, does he? He looks even less happy on the back there. So, and Arena Football, and one more game. That's what I think about that one. So then he gave me this basket of PC games, I think just because he felt bad now. I don't know why he has so many games without the cases, because I didn't see any empty cases laying around his place, but all these, and a lot of these are complete, and you got some actually fun games like Tomb Raider: The Last Revelation and Tomb Raider 2 and Baldur's Gate and whatever. They're PC games. I'll probably never play them. What I'm probably going to do is send them off to my friend in Minnesota, because he actually likes a lot of these games that are in here, like Command and Conquer and all that. The 2 that I'm going to keep are a factory sealed Missile Command with a date of August 1st, 2000 on it. So it's not one of the ones that you can get nowadays. It's actually the old style one. And then a factory sealed and upside down Lego Racers. However, it's got a crack in the case, so obviously some crap sat on it for a long time, but it's still factory sealed, so who knows? Maybe some Lego fanatic will want that. Although, like I said, to be frank, it's just going to go on my shelf with the other factory sealed PC games that I have that I will never play. So After that, he had another box, which I really couldn't pass up, and it is 33 empty cases, mostly 360s, couple PS2s and DS and PSP cases, but again, for 25 bucks, can you really pass on all this stuff? I mean, that's 33 cases. That alone at $1 a piece would be more than the rest of all this crap. So yeah, I took them. Some cool ones in there, some BS ones in there too. Actually, my favorite case out of the whole thing happens to be the one on the bottom, and that is the Steelbook Ultimate Sith Edition of Star Wars The Force Unleashed. Now, I can get most of these games at GameStop for 99 cents, much like I did with the PS3 games. So, yeah, I'll make a list of all the cases that I have. I'll go to GameStop, use some of those credits that I've been getting, and fill these up. I mean, Madden 08, Madden 9, Madden 10, those will be there in the 99-cent bin. Marvel Ultimate Alliance, I know was in there, X-Men Origins, all these crappy Madden games. So, yeah, I can probably fill 15 to 20 of these Xbox 360 cases just by walking into GameStop. So 20 games at $1 a piece, that'd be another 20 bucks. But then I'll have like 45 games for 40 bucks. Can't really beat that, man. So yeah, that's about it. If you liked the video, like it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, you can give it a thumbs down. But just remember, every time you give somebody the thumbs down, all you're doing is pointing and, showing how small your genitals are. So, happy, impotent. Happy, impotent. Oh, and on a side note, Mr. G called me after watching the videos on your computer, and he also asked me to fix my blinds, but I'm not going to do it until he subscribes. I will talk to you guys tomorrow because I'm going to that flea market, and we will see what comes of it. Thank you very much. Talk to you tomorrow.